Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fantasy NBA Today, a Sports Ethos presentation brought to you by our great partners at FanDuel. I'm Aaron Bruski, and joined always with the great Steve Alexander. I fucking can't read today. Oh my God. If you're looking for actionable fantasy basketball advice to help you win your league, you're in the right place. So let's get on with it. Doc, who was your top ad after last night's, seriously, 12-game barn burner? I got home from doing Christmas stuff here in Sacramento, and I saw the box scores, and they were just nuts. So how you sorting it all out, Doc? Who's your top ad from last night?
I had like 12 names written down for ads, and narrowing it down, I'm going with a guy that's probably available in every single league there is, and that would be Tyler Kolek, the guard for the New York Knicks. He played really well in that championship game in the in-season tournament, and then with so many Knicks injuries last night, he got a ton of run again yesterday, and the Knicks started a couple guys that you don't hear too much about. Kolek was not one of them, but he came off the bench. Over his last two games, Tyler Kolek is averaging 15 points, 5.5 boards, 8 assists, and 2 3-pointers. I think he's got a steal and a block in one of those games as well. So to me, that's kind of exciting. They play again tonight. And I just feel like Kolek is a guy that's actually available in leagues that you could actually monetize right now.
Do you think there's something more to this? Is this going to keep going after the gang gets back and healthy?
The minutes have been heavy enough. Like, he's getting a lot of minutes. And, that game last night was 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 11 dimes. Yeah, Jalen Brunson played in that game. So I do think that they're not afraid to run him out there as Brunson's primary backup, but also as a guy who can play with him. So I don't know if this is going to last. It's only been 2 games that he's really done much, but I'm going to ride the hot hand tonight and see what happens.
It's really interesting stuff. I've been talking, and I'm sure everybody in New York's talking about them needing another backup, guard or forward, just somebody to mop up minutes and production. Miles McBride's out, that's not helping, and it's certainly helping Tyler Kolek out here. But man, if they can get some found money, and I know there's a segment of the New York media that's been trying to make Tyler Kolek happen forever. And I think last year had some, they had him in the back end of the B150 thinking, yeah, this guy might be able to do something like this. And he's actually doing something like that. So it's really interesting stuff. And if it can stick, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people. I don't think everybody raced to the wire after the Tyler Kolek line last night, but they might start catching on here pretty quickly. And you might get yourself an interesting pickup there. I'll move us into Herbert Jones. Herbert Jones had 8 steals last night. 8 steals. This is 8 steals and a block and 2 threes and 18 points and 3 boards and 3 assists. It's really, some of this stuff is kind of razor thin margins. Like, I don't think I would have been on Herbert Jones in, say, like a 150 player league had I not seen the beat writer reporting. And that's where that blurb work kicks in. You get trained to really hone in on beat writers and kind of listen to as many of them as you can, and you'll catch little comments here and there. And Herbert Jones was reportedly much more explosive coming back after the break. So, I kind of hung in there with Herbert Jones. It was really, really tough. If he's available in your leagues, if steals are even moderately important to you, and they should be, Herbert Jones just showed you he's capable. And I think at this point in time, he's a must-roster player. Other players in New Orleans, actually, I'm skipping them. I don't want to talk about them. Doc, who's your next ad? It's a busy night.
I'm going to go with Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart for the Lakers played 28 minutes last night, hit 5 threes, had 17 points, 4 boards, 1 dime, 1 steal. He also fouled out of the game. His last 3 games, he's played 28, 32, and 28 minutes. He has hit 14 3-pointers in those 3 games, and he's put up juicy stat lines pretty much in all 3 of those games. And it's no coincidence that Austin Reeves is out and now Marcus Smart is kind of balling. So now seems like a good time to get on the Smart wagon.
Yeah, yeah. And similar question as with Kolek is you think that there's some staying power here with Smart? I know they picked him up with big things in mind. Do you think this can keep going?
I mean, he's a great defensive player, even though he's older and maybe not the same player he used to be. But we've been saying all season, Luka needs more help than just LeBron and Austin Reeves. So I think Smart is going to be that guy. And Reeves is going to be out for a hot minute too. So even if Smart doesn't pan out, you should get 10 days at least of goodies out of him.
Well, you bring up the defensive equation, and he is certainly the only answer that I think they have right now. I mean, you do have a trade deadline upcoming, and then Gabe Vincent doesn't really seem like he can stay on the basketball floor. And even if he can, I don't know that he's the answer to the defensive equation that they're trotting out there. And it is if he can be credible, at old levels, Marcus Smart, that does actually get get things moving in the right direction for the Los Angeles Lakers. I will spin us into Maxime Reynaud. 29 and 11, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 3. That's definitely paying the bills. And then between my guys, Herbert and Keon, we had 14 steals last night. Keon had 6 of them, 10 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, and a triple in 32 minutes. Knocked Malik Monk into a DNP CD. Interesting stuff there. I guess I'll kind of go one by one here. Reynaud, I think he's just kind of, I think he's locked in. I don't know if he'll make it past the Domantas Sabonis return, like, in say 125 or 100 player leagues where those are the ranks that play. But he's got a chance, and he's like salty enough to pull this off. He was getting asked questions in the locker room, and he's given like cold stares to reporters. And so maybe he is just that dude. And I think the points and the rebounds are certainly there. The other stuff, the steals and the threes, that's the sore spot for us with Maxime Reynaud. But he's showing us enough here early on to be at least a late round value in my book for the rest of the season. So you can pick him up and then have maybe a little upside beyond that. And yeah, there's the downside risk, but I think we can hope that Domantas Sabonis wants to be a team player. And as for Keon Ellis, I don't know if they're going to do intermittent games between these guys. Like Keon gets a game, Malik gets a game, and they kind of rotate the guys in the back end of the rotation that way. That's my only fear with this. But this is certainly an indicator. I don't know. Well, and
what is that?
The sad thing is that they actually made me feel bad for them last night. They got jobbed on a call late, and it was Denny Avdia flopping at the half court line, and I put out photos that looked like the Zapruder film, and it was just like, it's just so bad. But anyway,
it reminds me of like little kids sports. Like, okay, Jesse's gonna sit out this quarter, and we're gonna let Mark play.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's hard to project, but this is Keon Ellis in a nutshell. If you cut him loose, he's capable of getting you this many cash counting stats of steals, blocks, and threes, and rising up the ranks really, really quick. So I think Keon's definitely a speculative ad. I don't know if he is a must roster player at this point. I know our head-to-head crowd's got a different vibe on Keon, depending on your appetite for those cash counting stats. But in a roto setting, I think for sure Keon Ellis is a strong ad, just given the fact that I think this pivot will happen. And I don't know what's up with Malik Monk. I think Monk is a trade candidate. I think Sacramento's absolutely ruined his trade value. I don't know if Malik has any role in that. There's not a ton of reporting on it, and it doesn't really happen in Sacramento so much that you'll hear about these things, about the why behind the why. But he, if cut loose, is still a top 50 to 100 potential guy. And this pivot point is right around the corner. And DeMar DeRozan hit the almost game-winning shot last night. I believe it was 33 points for him. So he had a remind me game, like, remember me, guys, I can still do things. And it's unfortunate that the Clippers are tanking so bad this season, because they would be the very logical place for him to land. And I'm kind of curious if that's off the board right now. If they're not trying anymore. If they're not trying, maybe they're not so interested in DeMar DeRozan. And that will be the trigger, though. DeMar goes, Keon and Malik will fit in the rotation. Both will get their minutes, and that's what you're hoping for going forward.
You said that Monk didn't even play in that game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching.
How pissed off is he going to be?
He's a good soldier on the bench, that's for sure. I almost wonder if Scott Perry, who's a little bit of a master politician, kind of went to everybody and said, "Hey, look, we got to get DeMar traded. DeMar wants to be gone. We all know DeMar wants to be gone. So let's have DeMar have a big game, and we're going to play Keon. And then Malik, by the way, when DeMar's gone, we're going to give you a big fat role again." That's really, really projective thinking. I'm not making phone calls. I probably should make some phone calls, but that world sucking me back in, I don't know if I could handle that. Feel free to add on, Doc. But if not, who's your next top ad for the night?
I'm gonna go with Brandon Williams. I said I had a long list of guys. I may rattle some of those names off when we're done. Brandon Williams at the beginning of December played 13 minutes on December 1st and then 14 minutes on December 3rd. He didn't do hardly anything in those games. He was in the drop zone with us, and I think a lot of people cut him at that time. But since then, he's played 24, 23, 26, and 31 minutes. He had a 20.5 assist game a couple Saturdays ago. And then, but they haven't played many games since early December. That's the problem. But last night he had 14 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He missed all 4 of his threes. He only hit 3 of 8 shots. But that's a lot of minutes. 31 minutes. It was an overtime game. But I just feel like he's back in a true timeshare with Nembhard. And he's just not going away. If you're in a deep league and you need a point guard, I think Brandon Williams is somebody that you can look at.
Yeah, I keep looking at that timeshare and thinking, Ryan Nembhard's going to win it some amount of time more than Brandon Williams, because of the style of play and the fit and the things that they need in Dallas. But it's like a slider. Like, is Ryan Nembhard going to win? I might have thought at one point he was going to win maybe 100% of the time. And then after some down games, I think I probably moved that to like 2/3 of the time. And I think he needs to be maybe winning that timeshare maybe like 80% of the time for it to be a late round value for Ryan Nembhard. And then if Brandon Williams somehow magically gets cut loose, as we've seen in the past, then he's his own animal. He needs to get out there, score, steal the ball, and really just have these big explosive games. I don't know which one between the two, to be honest, like how it's all going to play out. But Brandon Williams, super interesting as he's kind of risen back from the ashes. AJ Mitchell is my next ad. 16 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 3. He could be higher, I guess, on this list than some of the players that we're talking about here, just because he has established himself in the past as a top 65, 75 guy. He's had some down games. This is that old remember me game. And I think with this team and all the things that they got going on in Oklahoma City, he probably has a good one since we're doing 2 out of every 3 or however many out or however many. I would think he would have like good games 3 out of every 5 games, AJ Mitchell. And that's probably going to be enough to keep him as a late round asset. If you can handle those ups and downs, I think AJ Mitchell will probably overperform your expectations and also your risk tolerance, not wanting to deal with all those ups and downs. I think he'll outperform that. Doc, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I'm just going to go through these guys real quick and not really, I don't think we need to talk about them, but just keep an eye. Like Quentin Post is playing well in the middle for Golden State. Bobby Portis had a monster line last night. Bobby Portis is sitting out there in your league. I would go get him. I didn't talk about him because I thought he was probably already rostered. And then Derek Queen, pretty good game again. And Jaime Jaquez and Ace Bailey, 2 of my guys. Jaime's, if the Heat have one injury, Jaime gets a big boost. If they're fully healthy, Jaime's kind of screwed. So
that's good math, though. That's good math because there's going to be one guy, I think, in Miami hurt between Tyler Hero and Norm Powell. I mean, they're kind of almost guaranteed it feels like one of those guys will be hurt. I'm a little overstating that, but good stuff there. Isaiah Stewart's in my honorable mentions. Just a good game, and reminding you that he is a must-roster player in 12 to 14 team standard formats. Dennis Jenkins gets a shout out. He had 11 points for
Leroy.
Yeah, exactly. Right at the edge of my threshold too, and I held him in at least one spot.
Every time you try to let go, they keep pulling you back in.
I was laughing because I said, I think the last show was like, I got one more game that I'm waiting on Dennis Jenkins before I'm all the way done. And then you get injuries for Duncan Robinson in the middle of the game. It's a knee injury. We don't have an update on that, I don't think. And so is that bad? Who knows? But that certainly opens the door for Dennis. Dennis played more than Jaden Ivey, of course, and 1 steal, 1 3 to go with the 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist, 20 minutes for Dennis Jenkins. Like, this isn't a run-of-the-wire moment for Dennis Jenkins. It's just a keep going to this today. Remember me. I'm Dennis Jenkins, everybody.
Well, that knee injury to Duncan Robinson, like, if he's going to miss 10 days, it could be Dennis time. So that's kind of exciting.
He just needs a little bit of fuel, right? Like, just give the fire a little bit of gas and he's just going to keep going, I think. But obviously, I think people are a little bit wary of Dennis Jenkins, and for good reason. The last couple of weeks haven't been great. And but this is a good game. So we'll keep it moving along here. Quick reminder before we hit the drop zone, if this is helping your team, it really helps us out if you subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today pod feed and the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. Doc, who is your first player in the drop zone?
I'm going to go with one Harrison Barnes. Around here, we like to call him Harry. Played 18 minutes last night and had 2 points and missed all 6 of his shots against the Washington Wizards. That's brutal, man. And, we joke about these guys being the Burrito Brothers, but I feel like Julian Champagnie has taken a step above the Burrito Brothers level. And I feel like Devin Vassell is not one of them either. So now you got Harry Barnes and Keldon Johnson. And honestly, I don't really trust Harry anymore. I'm out. I'm done out of the Harry game.
I'll let Mr. Harry Barnes know that you feel that way. And I think that he's totally droppable. But this potential for stats in a Dave given night, we'll just foreshadow that is always going to be there. I'll talk a little bit about Daniel Gafford, 9.6 boards, 1 assist, 3 blocks in his 15 and a half minutes last night. I don't think people are jumping up and down for the Daniel Gafford stat line. I think I was, though. I just want to know he's healthy, and I just want to know that he's spry. And the 3 blocks tell me he's spry. 9 and 6 is actually great for the per minute. He's just slowly getting back. And if he was dropped in your fantasy league, just remember this guy had a couple first round weeks last year and a good solid early round, like month. And it wasn't surprising. He just does this in limited minutes, and they like him in Dallas if he's upright, especially given the center situation there with all the injuries that they have. Danny Gafford can rise the ranks real quick. So I'm not dropping Danny Gafford if I just saw the 9 and the 6 and assumed in the 15 minutes and assumed that it was a bad night. Doc, who's up next for you in the drop zone?
Are you like me, Brew? And I'm like scrolling through box scores and I see Daniel Gafford's name. Like, oh, he played. Oh, Daniel Gafford's still with us. And I kind of get excited about that. And because we talk about it all the time, he doesn't need that many minutes to go off. So as long as he's playing, man, I'm in. Brew, did Ausar Thompson get hurt last night? He played 9 minutes.
Oh no!
He was in foul
ejected.
Trouble.
He got ejected.
Got ejected.
I'm actually interested in this ejection. I didn't catch much on it. I didn't deep dive the Ausar Thompson ejection, like what was said.
Apparently, he made contact with the ref.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I figured it was frustration.
He was also in foul trouble because he had 3 fouls in 9 minutes, which is probably why he got ejected, because he was mad. And that probably also helped the Dennis Jenkins cause a little bit as well. But Ausar Thompson, I mean, if you look at his game log, it's pretty brutal. Not very many blocks. Yes, there are some steals, but they're minimal. I mean, it's usually like one each game. You're never going to see a 3-pointer out of him. The free throw shooting is not great. And he's scoring so poorly. Like the game before this against Boston, he played 23 minutes, only had 7 points, 6 rebounds, nothing else. So I know that Ausar Thompson managers are fed up with it and over it. And, you know, like I said, Greg Rosenthal from RotoWorld was like, dude, can I drop Ausar Thompson? And I said, yeah, I think maybe next year is the year for Ausar Thompson, but I don't think this is the year.
So I've been down on Asar for about a month now, I feel like, and pointing out that he's really struggling. I wonder if this ejection is the thing that gets him going. And you know, sometimes it just all comes to a head, right? And then everybody gets together. They're like, okay, Asar's down in the dumps, man. We got to go pick him up. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he has a pick-me-up game in the next one. And we're having this conversation all over again, and people will give him a break. Okay, it's Ausar Thompson and all the upside and all the things. And then after that game, maybe he doesn't keep up that energy. And this is all pure speculation, but it's been bad. I think we will see at a point in time here, if this next bump up that I'm talking about doesn't happen, I think you're going to start to see Ausar Thompson on the waiver wire in very competitive leagues and in 12-team leagues. And then we'll be talking about whether or not you pick up Ausar Thompson. And it'll be an interesting couple of weeks here for him. I'll allow a hold here, but damn, this is bad. I would hold no matter what, because I want to see the bounce back. And then we can have a conversation after that. I will bring up Bilal Coulibaly just quickly, not as a major drop candidate or anything. He just did not have much of an impact in his return with 22 minutes. Justin Champagnie, 18 minutes off the bench, 5 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block. When I saw this line, I actually had kind of like a little bit of a relief because Alexander Sarr, there you go, Doc, returned. And with that, Bilal Coulibaly coming back, I thought this is a chance that Justin Champagnie could get wiped out, you know, and we're trying to avoid that. I want to see him in this 18-minute range. It's not like you want this kind of a line. Also, it's not like it sank you in one outing. So it's for me a clear hold. We're going to make sure that we see this out and see if he can just kind of subsist at 18 minutes per game or more, but we're going to hope that he can expand upon this position and then you could just kind of ride it for the rest of the season. All right. I think we are out of the drop zone and we are into the streamer action for tonight. Let's talk streamers, Doc. Who's your top streamer for tonight?
I think Tyler Kolek, who we already talked about, so I'm not going to get too much into him, but those 15 points, 5.5 boards, 8 assists, 2 threes, those are his averages over the last 2 games. I'm going to ride the hot hand and throw him out there tonight, especially like he's in my FanDuel lineup for sure. If you need a streamer, I think he's a guy that at least for one night we can see if he can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to toss out your guy that you faded, Harry B. He'll get you some points, some triples, some steals playing in Atlanta. I don't know what kind of a matchup that would present for him. There's a lot of guys that could guard him, but he went for nothing last night, and so did De'Aaron Fox for that matter. Got to think those 2 guys are going to bounce back in this game and that everybody on the team understands that the Senator needs his points. So I'll take Harrison Barnes. Doc, who's next for you?
Yeah, I've got his running mate, Julian Champagnie. Champagnie went into a dive at the end of the Cup. In the Cup championship game, he played 27 minutes, only had 3 points, but he hit a 3-pointer in that game. He had a block, and he had 8 boards. The next game against the Knicks, he only had 3 points. He had a block, he had a steal, he had a 3. So at least when he's throwing up these duds, he's still doing other little stuff. And then last night against his brother, he had 4 3-pointers, 7 boards, 12 points, 2 assists. No steals or blocks, but that's okay. And I like, the Hawks have guards that are playing a lot of defense, but their forward guys aren't as defensively stout. So Harry and Julian could get loose tonight. Champagne's line, if you look at his game log for December, outside of those 2 3-point games, it's been pretty good. I like Champagne.
Yeah. In fact, he's actually just a legit late round value on a per game basis this season in 9-cat formats, top 115 player. And he gets you over 2 threes, 11 points, 6 boards. The Champagne brothers, they like to rebound, and 1.4 combined defensive stats. So Julian Champagne, one of my favorites, and a favorite from last season, and getting it done this season as well. I'm going to shout out Trey Jones as a streamer. Now, he's questionable, might not play. Had a good game last night, double digits in points and assists. And he gets a Cleveland team that's on the ropes. And so if he plays, I think he's just a live wire. If he doesn't play, then obviously you're not going to use him. But if he is in there, and you can kind of fashion your strategy and approach around making sure that you either add him now and wait to make another move after the fact, or you wait and see what it all looks like and then make the move. Do whatever you can. If he's active, I think he should be a streamer in somebody's lineup tonight. Also for the FanDuel line, Cleveland -7, -114. It's a big number, and Chicago just beat them. But there's a revenge game factor here. There's also the fact that Cleveland is officially all the way on the ropes. If they lose this game tonight, I think you start to see internal discussions, pivots, finger pointing, a real reflection of Kenny Atkinson as the coach of the year last year, if you ask me. Also, Dean Wade in that game. Had a bad one the last time, might be due for a good one. And then if Donovan doesn't play, because it's a back-to-back, and maybe this is their way they get out of that conversation entirely. But if Donovan doesn't go, Craig Porter Jr. will probably go off. And so in a FanDuel situation, or for like DFS, or just in general as a streamer, Craig Porter Jr. in that situation could be very, very spicy. All right.
Can I throw one more guy out there real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dylan Harper, we're staying with the Spurs. Dylan Harper has not played 30 minutes one time this year. His last 2 games, dude, he's hit 21 points, 24 points with 8 3-pointers. Last night, he played 23 minutes and shot 13 times and hit 9 of them. Dylan Harper is on fire. I think he's a great ad right now, a great streamer. And he's becoming a guy that doesn't need a lot of minutes to go off. I mean, if he ever gets 30 minutes a game, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do.
Almost like he was the was he the second overall pick? It's almost like he was the second overall pick. He's freaking good. And why I really, really wanted you guys to treat him like a late round value the entire way. And I think he's just going to keep cruising like that. The Spurs are going to be so good. It's so nice. Okay, Doc, out of all of your ads, who was your top ad of the night?
Oh, my top ad of the night. Short term, Tyler Kolek.
Okay. My overall top ad of the night, I will throw it at Herbert Jones just because that man has a lot of upside. And I think we might have forgotten about that this season.
That was finally a pop game for Herb Jones. Like we've been waiting for that all year. I didn't think it was ever going to come. So I had kind of given up.
And then for your top streamer tonight, who's your top streamer tonight?
Well, the answer again is Tyler Kolek, but I'll say Dylan Harper to switch it up. I guess I could have done Dylan Harper when you never.
I really want to say Craig Porter Jr. and predict like a Donovan doesn't play thing tonight, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just say Trey Jones with the old asterisk there. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Fantasy NBA Today. If you're listening on the pod feed, take 60 seconds, please, and leave a 5-star review. It really, really helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the Sports Ethos channel so you never miss an episode. If you're new to the show, we've got you covered Monday through Friday with 3 episodes a day. This one with quick, actionable ads, drops, and streamers. A second one with deeper dives into the players and storylines that are impacting the fantasy leagues at large. And a third rotating episode that is going to focus on the high-value stuff like buy low, sell high, and stashes. Mondays feature my 30-team deep dive. Wednesdays, you get Q&A with Dr. A. And then Saturdays, we break down the week ahead. For Steve, Andre, and all of us here at Sports Ethos, we'll be right back with our daily fantasy deep dive. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, presented by FanDuel.